This is a Friday Shoes production. Our target today, and what we're learning is I can subtract polynomials. You can follow us on page LA9 in the back of our textbook. When we're subtracting polynomials, we have to remember that we're actually taking one polynomial and subtracting all of the second polynomial. Meaning we're going to subtract the 3x, we're also going to subtract the plus 2 here. In doing so, there's two methods that I'll show you, and you choose the one that works best for you. The one method is the stacking method. You'll notice in the book they actually use the algebra tiles to show you as well. I'm going to show you the two mathematical versions here on the screen. So we have 5x, and this is the stacking method. I'm going to take my 5x plus 4, and I'm going to subtract 3x plus 2. In doing so, I literally take the 5x and subtract the 3x. Use that subtraction, and you get 2x. Then I'm going to take my 4 and subtract the 2. When I take 4 minus 2, I get a positive 2, so that means plus 2 in the end. That's the stacking method. Another method we can do is the vertical method, using the fact that we can subtract by adding the opposite. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to rewrite this problem right here, 5x plus 4 in parentheses minus 3x plus 2. Now, noticing with that first polynomial, 5x plus 4, we can rewrite that as 5x plus 4. There's nothing outside this parentheses right here that's going to have us do anything, so we don't really need the parentheses there. But let me show you this. When we have a subtraction, and I'm talking about this subtraction right here, if we wanted to change that to addition, we could. We can change that to addition, but in doing so, if we change that to addition, we have to then, inside, we have to change each individual term to its opposite. In this case, instead of 3x, let's make it a negative 3x, and instead of a plus 2, let's make it a minus 2. So then what we have is, once you've done that, we can now eliminate the parentheses. So now you'll have 5x plus 4, then plus, and then get rid of the parentheses, negative 3x plus negative 2. When you do that, you can group things together. Take your 5x and your plus negative 3x, put those together, because it's all addition now. And then we'll take our plus 4 and our plus negative 2 and put those together. Then we combine like terms, and we have 2x plus 2. That would be those two there. There again is our final answer. Now you might say, wow, that first one's a lot easier. Well, because that's an easy problem to do, and there's both positives inside of here, makes things a lot easier. We typically would use the second method here when we have lots of subtraction of negatives. Let's take a look at this number 2 here. Let's do that stacking method. We'll take our x squared minus 4x. And by the way, I'd like to put a 1 in front of those x squareds. Put a minus 6. And then let's put down our subtraction. And then let's put our negative x located right underneath the other x, 4x. And then we have our minus 3 here. Let's subtract down. We have 1x squared minus nothing right here. There's absolutely nothing there, so it's going to be 1x squared. Now what do we have here? We have negative 4x minus negative 1x right there. So you're doing this in your head. Negative 4x minus negative 1x. That's tricky. Negative 4 minus negative 1 is what you're doing. Then you're going to put an x on it. Well, that becomes negative 3. So it's going to be a negative 3x. If you take negative 6 and you minus negative 3, that's this part right here. You're taking negative 6 and you're minusing negative 3. You end up with, again, that's plus, so it's going to be a negative 3. So your final answer, they never put the 1 in front of the x. This will be your final answer right here. See how those negatives get tricky? Let's try it using the other method. See if that helps at all. What's nice about the other method, you're always dealing with addition. So I will take x squared, or 1x squared, minus 4x minus 6, and then we will subtract negative x minus 3. Again, I will put a 1 in front of that x right there. Now, let me rewrite. The first one here, I'm going to write as all addition, so meaning I'm going to add the opposite on those. Eliminate the parentheses because you don't need them. So we'll have 1x squared plus negative 4x plus negative 6. And if you remember now what I said to do when you have this negative here, the subtraction, change it to addition, but then change everything on the inside to its opposite. So that'll be a plus, and this will be a plus right here. So if you do that, then what we'll have is, we just need to add, get rid of the parentheses, and we'll have 1x, and we'll have plus 3. Then we regroup these. We have, first thing we deal with is the highest exponent. So we had x to the second power is right there, 1x squared. There's no others to put together. Then I would put together these two right here. Should be a negative 4x plus 1x. Then I will group these two together, and that'll be our plus negative 6 plus 3. Well, just x squared, or 1x squared, plus, let's put these together, that'll be negative 3x. And then let's put these together, and that'll be negative 3. In the end, the book will show it to you like this. It's kind of the opposite of the add-out property. Either method works. Choose which one works best for you. This is where you'll stop the video and try these two in your notes. I will continue on and do them both. And I'm going to use that second method. I'm going to take that 7x, change it to a plus negative 5, and I'm going to, and you'll see how fast this goes when you get used to this. I'm going to change this to a positive and change everything inside here to its opposite. So now I have plus negative 2x plus 1. Put these two together, 7x and negative 2x, that is 5x's. Then take my plus negative 5 and a plus 1, and we'll get our plus negative 4. Of course, the book will show it this way, 5x minus 4. There's your final answer. How about the second one over here? I'm going to take my first polynomial, 2x squared plus 6x plus negative 4, and I'm going to add the opposite of that, which will be negative 1x squared, the opposite of that, which is negative 2x, and the opposite of that, which would be negative 4. Put things together that go together, meaning the variable and exponent have to match. So put these two together. It's always adding now. That's what's nice about this. Every time you're just going to pull them together and add them. You're never subtracting. If you got your 2x squared plus your negative 1x squared, that equals 1x squared. So that'll be 1x squared. And then we'll do our, I should probably do that in red. There's our 1x squared. Let's do the next one in blue. We'll take our 6x and our negative 2x, and that'll be a plus 4x. And then we take our last ones and do that in green. We got a plus negative 4 and a negative 4. Put those together, and you got a plus negative 8. Now, of course, in the book, here's what it would look like. X squared plus 4x minus 8. They don't like to put that plus negative in there. Either one would be correct. So there you go. Hopefully you got stars too. Let's take a look at number 3. Same situation. We got ourselves a 2x squared plus 3x plus 2. And then let's add the opposite of those two items. So it's going to be a plus a negative 1x squared and plus a negative 2x. And let's organize them. The x squareds go together. The x's go together. And it looks like we just have a single plus 2 sitting right there. So the red ones, when put together, will equal our 1x squared. The blues, when put together, will equal a positive 1x. Everything's going to be separated by pluses. That's what's nice about this. And then our last part will just be plus 2. Of course, what would it look like in the book? And as the answer key would show it, this is what they would show. They get rid of those 1s in front of the x's. There you go. How about you try a couple? I'll do it right here. Stop the video. See if you can get these correct. I'll start by, again, writing down x plus negative 5 without the parentheses. Then I'm going to add the opposite of each one of these items in here. And that would actually be a plus right there. I should do it this way. It was a minus 1, now it's going to be a plus 1 because of me changing the sign here. So we have negative 2x and we have plus 1, but it used to be a minus 1. All right, let's put our x's together. Let's put our single constants together. And we get 2x's put together. That's going to be a 1x plus a negative 2x. That's a negative 1x. Plus our negative 5 and our plus 1. That's going to be negative 4. The final answer would be negative x plus negative 4. In the book, it's going to look like this. Any one of these answers is correct, actually. Any one I would accept. This is going to be the most correct. All right, now last D, let's take our 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. And I notice that these are both positive, so I'm going to show it the other way, where you stack it. So I'm going to say minus 2x squared and plus 5 over here. Notice there's no x term in this one over here. So you leave a space there. Organize the x squareds together, organize the constants together, that's 4 and 5. So now let's take 3x squared minus 2x squared, that's 1x squared. Look at our plus 7x, there's nothing to subtract from it. There's nothing here. But we do have a 4 minus a positive 5, so 4 minus 5 is going to be a negative 1. So it's going to be a minus 1 right there. Final answer will be x squared plus 7x minus 1. You may have noticed I, again, did the stacking method because I noticed that these are both positive. That'll make things a lot easier. If I see negatives in it, I think the other way, to me, makes more sense. How about number 4 here, the exercise? After x seconds, cyclist A travels 16x plus 2 feet, and cyclist B travels 19x minus 1 feet. After 120 seconds, how many more feet does cyclist B travel? And you see a little note that says use subtraction of polynomials to solve. They actually want you to subtract these polynomials. They're giving you a hint that you're going to subtract these polynomials. There's another way to do it where you can plug the 120 in and subtract and figure it out that way. But they want you to actually subtract first. And the reason why, you can see here, if cyclist A travels this many feet, and cyclist B travels that many feet, it says after 126, how many more feet does cyclist B travel? Well, they were telling you that cyclist B is probably traveling more. So you're going to take that, the more, which is the 19x minus 1, and you're going to subtract the 16x plus 2. When you do that, again, I will use our stacking method. So we'll take our 19x minus 1 and subtract off 16x plus 2. When we do that, we can go straight down 19x minus 16x, which is 3x. And then we have negative 1 minus 2, which will be negative 3. So I did that subtraction, and I did this subtraction, negative 1 minus 2. And we got 3x minus 3. That's the distance that cyclist B traveled farther than A after 120 seconds. Well, I'm going to have to plug in the 120 seconds into this to figure this out. So we'll do 3 times 120, because that x represents the seconds, and then subtract off 3. 3 times 120 is 360, minus off 3, and our answer is 357 feet. That's how much more cyclist B will travel. How about you try, check your progress on E. Money. After X hours at their job, Kayla earns $9X and Abigail earns 7X plus $3. After 5 hours, how much more money does Kayla earn? Well, Kayla, it sounds like, is earning more. So Kayla is 9X and Abigail's 7X plus 3. So she's got more. This is, again, Kayla. And let's subtract off how much Abigail makes from her to see how much more she makes. So we take our 9x, and I'm going to use the add out property, change these to their opposite, so I have negative 7x plus negative 3. Put these together, we got ourselves a 2x plus negative 3. And there is the expression that will tell you how much more money Kayla is earning at any one time for the amount of hours that she works over Abigail. And to get to the answer, we have to plug in 5 for our x. So we have 2 times 5 plus negative 3, or subtract 3. And that's, of course, 10 plus negative 3, which is 7. So she is earning $7 more than Abigail. Don't forget, you can review this video, or, of course, read the examples in the book. And there's also those personal tutor videos on the online textbook. This has been a Friday Shoes production.